everyone. Well, welcome to our yoga practice today. My name is Kathleen Metzger and I'm very happy to be having the opportunity to share a practice with you from a distance, and hopefully it will feel a little bit close. The practice today is an asana or posture practice. So yoga can be many things. One of the things it can be is a physical practice. So that being said, I do recommend that all individuals check with their medical providers before participating in any physical practice, including this one here today. We'll have about a 30-35 minute practice. We'll be starting with some sitting, just an opportunity to settle in and settle down. So there's the option to have the eyes open or closed. If you do prefer to have your eyes open, it's generally recommended to have the eyes resting at a steady gazing point. As we sometimes like to say, when the eyes are steady, the mind will follow suit. So picking one that's best for you, eyes open or closed. And if you find it helpful just to take a deep breath or two to settle in, go for it. Feel free to join me in one. Taking a nice deep breath in. And then practicing to pause, just to take a moment to notice how it is for you in the mind and in the body. Sometimes the mind is very busy, sometimes the body is uncomfortable. Remembering there's not a right or wrong way to be. Just meeting however we are as best we can with some care and kindness. And then as you're ready, bringing attention to the breath. First, just feeling how the body moves as we breathe. Maybe we feel the belly or the chest rising and falling with in and out breath. And then when you're ready, beginning to extend the length of your inhales and your exhales. Maybe even matching the in and the out breath. So we're bringing in a little more energy and oxygen, but not trying so hard that it's uncomfortable. Just a gentle yet steady effort. And then as you're ready, as you breathe in, extending the spine a little bit taller. And we'll take a few movements with the shoulders. Eyes can stay open or closed. As we inhale, slightly shifting the shoulders forward, rolling them up to the ears, and exhaling, rolling them back and down. Inhaling the shoulders forward and up. And exhaling back and down, and feel free to continue at your own pace. Maybe the circles are small, maybe they're big, maybe even moving one at a time. It's really up to you. But perhaps starting to become really curious about sensation. Not so much thinking about it, but just practicing to experience directly sensations as they come and go. This moment-to-moment practice of awareness as we move through motion and posture. So maybe one or two more circles with the shoulders, and you can absolutely continue with the shoulders or maybe let them be still. Again, option to have the eyes open or closed as we start to bring the head into some movement. As long as it doesn't cause any pain or discomfort, just a gentle side to side to begin with. Noticing the shortening of the neck on one side, lengthening on the other. You might choose to continue with this, or maybe a gentle rolling into the chest with the chin. Just kind of rolling the head from side to side. You can even come up through center. We certainly would want to avoid sensations like pinching or zinging, or any experience with dizziness. Otherwise, just kind of moving the head and the neck in any way that feels comfortable comfortable, intuitive, maybe a sense of relief. Nice deep breath. There's one or two more here. And as you're ready, gently bringing the head back up to center. Taking a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And let's make our way up onto all fours. So if being on the knees is uncomfortable for you, you can always either double up your mat or maybe have a little blanket under the knees. You just don't want to make it so high that the hips are hiked up, but a thin layer of a blanket might be a nice option. So coming onto all fours as you're ready. And then with the hands, if this is ever difficult with the hands, you can always fold down the top of your mat. One thing I always like to remind myself and others that we're not sinking our way into the heel of our hands. You might consider what it's like to grip the lid of a large jar. I always imagine a pickle jar for some reason. So as the hands are on the ground, the fingertips are actually pressing down as if gripping the edge of a jar. And you'll start to feel your forearms and maybe even your upper arms wake up a little bit. And that's a good sensation. Otherwise, we sink into the heel of our hands and it can be uncomfortable after a while. So try that out as we bring the shoulders over the wrists, knees under the hips. And on your own exhale, starting to round the spine towards the sky and tucking the chin into the chest. You might even stay here for a breath or two, and then when you're ready, inhaling to sway the spine, lifting through the head and the heart, and moving at your own pace for a little while. Inhaling to sway the spine towards the ground, head and heart to lift, and exhaling to round the spine, chin to chest. Just one more time, moving with your own breath. And at the end of the exhale, letting the hips start to sink their way back as we bring the feet to touch, hips to heels, and maybe bringing the forehead either to the ground, or you can make a little pillow with your hands to rest your head on. Taking a few deep breaths here, aware of the points of contact where your body meets the ground, the sense of the hips sinking and stretching back, or any other sensation that you might notice. You're welcome to linger here for a little while if you'd like. You just want to make sure you don't linger so long you fall asleep, and then when you're ready, arms extending forward as we inhale, gently coming up through all fours, rocking forward. And for today, we'll be lowering our hips and then slowly letting the elbows bend back and in as we come to the ground. It's a little different than you would normally see. Feel free to adjust to a different variation that supports you. So as we bring the chin or forehead to the ground, thumbs are about mid-ribs, and we'll lift and lower a few times. Inhaling, lifting through the head and the heart, a little or a lot, and exhale, slowly lowering. So you might just lift about 6 to 8 inches, or as you inhale, you might come more into a variation of cobra, and then lowering down. You might even kind of feel warm enough and energetic enough to extend the arms all the way. It's really up to you. We'll do about 3 more together. Inhaling as you lift the head and the heart, and exhaling to lower. Starting to warm the back. Inhaling to lift the head and the heart, and exhaling to lower. Just one more like this. Breath in, and breath out. Making a little pillow again with the hands under the head. Perhaps bending the knees and letting the feet rock from side to side a few times. A gentle rocking motion in the hips in the low back. And even here, a steady, even breath. And then as you're ready, bringing the feet to center, lowering the feet to the ground. If it's more convenient for you to come up onto the elbows to lift up, you can do that. Some of us might feel energetic enough to press up with the hands, maybe even coming up through a cobra pose as we stretch our hips just for a moment back towards the heels. It's important that you create and work with transitions that are suitable for you and your mobility or whatever injuries you might be working with. We don't all need to look the same. So I'm going to catch a hold of two of my blocks. I would suggest, if you don't have blocks at home, you could use a few books, might be handy, something to give you a little height under the shoulders as we step the right foot forward. And then a few times we'll breathe in as we rock the hips back and breathing out as we rock forward. Feel free to move at your own pace. And again, remember to explore. So as we rock forward, it might feel nice to keep the head low, or it might feel nice to lift up, maybe even coming up higher on the blocks. It's really up to you. In breath to rock back, and exhaling to rock forward. We're not trying to get it just right today, or even assume that there is a just right. Rather, thinking of it as a friendly and curious exploration of your own experience. We'll do one or two more, depending on your pace. Gently, as you're ready, coming forward into the lunge, careful that all four corners of the front foot are on the ground, and you might choose to stay here. Maybe climbing hands up onto the thigh, or maybe taking both arms to the sky. Few deep breaths. Shoulders can sink down from the ears as we lift through the head and the heart. Maybe one more full breath. And then as you're ready, gently releasing the hands to the ground or to the blocks. And we'll switch legs, so stepping the right foot back and taking the left foot forward. Coming forward into a kneeling lunge. Doing the best we can to have all four corners of the front foot on the ground. And when you're ready, inhaling to gently rock back and exhaling to rock forward. So similar to the other side, you might choose to let the head rest down, or you might choose to lift the head and the heart up, even coming higher on the blocks. Up to you. Maybe playing with one of each, just to notice different sensations as they come and go. There's no need to rush. Feel free to move at your own pace. When you're ready, coming forward into the lunge. Maybe staying or maybe extending the arms to the sky. Shoulders can be soft, lifting up through the head and the heart as we sink down into the hips. One more full breath in, full breath out. As you're ready, gently releasing the hands to the ground. From here, we'll tuck the back toes and step up into a forward fold. So feet are about hips width apart. You can do this with or without the blocks. I'll demonstrate half height with the blocks for those of us that might benefit. Bringing the hands either to your shins or the tops of the blocks. Inhaling to straighten the arms and lift the head and the heart to an upward facing forward fold, Urdhva Uttanasana. Taking a deep breath in here and folding in again as you breathe out. A little bend in the knees to press down into the feet. Inhaling to roll up to standing. The
arms can stay to the sides, or maybe reaching the arms up and out of the screen and bending into the knees as we exhale to fold forward. All the way till we can relax the back of the neck. Then straightening the arms, inhaling to lift through the head and the heart, and lunging the right leg back as we breathe out. Please take your time, gently lowering the back knee to the earth. You might choose to stay or just one breath in to lift the heart up, arms up, and exhale, hands to the ground. Maybe moving the blocks to the sides, stepping the front foot back, and rocking forward into a half plank. If you have a different variation here you'd like to practice, please do. But as you're ready, exhale, lowering all the way to the ground. Pointing the toes back. Inhale, lifting the head and the heart a little or a lot. Lift through the navel as we exhale to rock the hips back to the heels. Inhaling as we come up through all fours, perhaps using the blocks again to help step the right foot forward. Inhaling, option to lift towards the sky, and exhaling, hands to the ground. Back toes to tuck, knee to lift on the in-breath, and stepping the back foot forward on the out-breath. Straightening the arms, inhale to extend through the spine, lift through the sternum, exhaling to fold forward. One more time around. Inhaling, rolling up to standing, arms can stay, or maybe they reach to the sky. Exhaling to fold forward, all the way till we can relax the back of the neck. We'll inhale, lift to upward facing fold, this time stepping back with the left leg. Gently placing the back knee to the earth. Inhaling, arms to the sky, and exhaling, hands to the blocks or ground. Stepping the front foot back, coming forward to a half plank, and exhale, lowering all the way down. Toes to point. Inhale, lifting to baby or full cobra, and exhale, moving the hips back to the heels. Gentle stretch. On your own in-breath, coming up through all fours. So maybe we catch a hold of the blocks again, stepping the left foot forward. Inhaling, arms to the sky. Exhaling, hands to the earth. Tucking the back toes to lift the back knee, and stepping the back foot up to the front. Inhale, lifting to upward facing fold. Exhaling to fold forward. This time, maybe a gentle turning of the head from side to side a few times. And when you're ready, a little bend in the knees so we can press down into the feet, wake up the legs, the inhale. Rolling up, arms can dangle, maybe even bringing the shoulders up, back and down. One more time with the shoulders. Inhaling, rolling them up, back and down. So I'm just going to turn my way towards you, moving the blocks to the sides for now. Let's take a wide stance with the legs. Starting with the toes pointing forward. So really it's the outer edges of the feet that point forward here. Thighs are firm. And we'll turn our right toes to the side. So I'll turn my left, I'll mirror you the whole time. So turning your right toes to the side. Big toe points to the side of the mat. Pinky toe points to the edge of the mat. Hands can be on the hips or extending arms to a T. As long as it's comfortable for the neck, turning the chin over the shoulder. We'll take a breath in. And then as we breathe out, bending into the right knee just so that it stops over the heel. So if you feel like you can keep going, either back off or wiggle your back foot back so that your knee is safely stacked over your ankle. We also want to point the knee slightly towards the pinky toe so that it's not collapsing inward. So a few times. Inhaling, extending through this leg, and exhale, bending. Inhale, extending, not quite all the way, but almost, and exhale, bending. Let's do 2 more. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out, and pausing here. You're welcome to stay or maybe gently bend the front elbow, resting forearm to thigh, sweeping the opposite arm in front of the torso as if you're scooping up the air with your hand. So as your arm comes up alongside your ear, your palm is facing the wall behind you. This is to help roll the shoulder inward. Shoulder can soften down from the ear. Few deep breaths here. Legs are energized, very lightly resting on the forearm, rolling the right ribs forward to roll the left ribs back. 1 more full breath in, full breath out, and as long as you're up for it, knee stays bent. Inhaling, coming back to a T, pausing for the exhale. Inhaling to extend this leg, toes turn in, hands to hips. When you're ready, turning your left foot out to the side. Left big toe points to the side of the mat. Right pinky toe or edge of the foot points to the edge of the mat. When you're ready, arms can come to a T if you'd like, and then turning the chin over the shoulder as long as it's comfortable for the neck. Taking a breath in, and on the breath out, bending deeply into this knee. So remember, we want to stop with the knee directly over the heel. A little weight sinks into the heel. If you feel like you can keep pushing the knee, either back off or wiggle your back leg back. So a few times together. Inhale, extending the leg. And as the knee bends, remember we're pointing it towards the pinky toe. Inhale, extending. Exhale, bending. Inhale, extending. Exhale, bending. Let's do 2 more. Breathing in to extend. Breathing out to bend. Breathing in to extend. Breathing out to bend. Pausing here. You're welcome to stay or bend into the left elbow, forearm to thigh. Opposite arm sweeps in front of the torso. Remember, scooping up air with the palm of the hand all the way till the arm bone is alongside the ear. Palm turning down or towards the wall behind you. Chin can look forward or maybe tuck under the upper underarm. Steady, even breath here. Left ribs rolling forward to roll the right ribs back. 2 more breaths. In, breath out, breath in, breath out. Keeping this knee bent. Inhale, coming arms to a T, staying for the exhale. In breath, extending through the leg, hands to hips as the toes turn in. Taking a breath in, taking a breath out. If you feel like your legs need a break, just bring them hips width apart or slightly wider. Maybe even circle the hips a few times. If you're not used to standing in these postures. Sometimes we just have to build a little endurance, and there's nothing wrong with giving ourselves a little break from time to time. So let's take our legs wider than the shoulders again. So that's going to depend on your strength, your flexibility. So finding what a comfortably wide without overextending yourself stance feels like. Turning your right toes to the side again and taking the arms to a T. We're coming into triangle pose. Imagining your right hand is resting on the table, and as you breathe out, hinging into this hip and sliding the hand across the table, only as far as you can comfortably reach. Without lowering your torso, lowering your hand to the shin. Top hand can come to the hip. It's a nice place to start, actually. To lift through the crown of the head, extend the spine, and roll the lower ribs under forward as the top ribs roll back. We might choose to stay here, or maybe taking top arm towards the sky as well. We don't get more points for touching the ground, but some of us, depending on our flexibility, can maintain a long spine and reach lower. Some of us will feel better with our hand up higher than the knee, just not on the knee. Let's take 2 more breaths. In, breath out. Breath in, breath out. Pressing into both feet as you inhale to rise up. Turning the toes in. Hands can rest on hips if you'd like a break, otherwise staying with me as we turn the opposite toes out. So remember, now we're imagining your left hand is resting on the table. As we exhale, sliding the hand out across the table, lowering the hand to shin, opposite hand to hip. Just an opportunity to lift and lengthen through the spine. Exhaling the left ribs forward, right ribs back. We might choose to stay here, or maybe taking the top hand to the sky. Finding what's a reasonable reach for you. You could always use a block behind the lower leg if that's helpful. When you're ready, consciously aware of your even breath in, breath out, breath in, breath out. One more at least on your own. And then pressing into both feet as we inhale to come all the way up to standing, turning the toes in, and perhaps giving the arms a break. Taking a nice deep breath here, and as you're ready, grabbing a hold of one of your blocks. So taking the block in the right hand, we'll wiggle the feet in just a little bit closer to one another, and then turning towards, this is your left hand, I'm going to put it in mine. So the block is in your right hand, and we're turning towards the left. So your left foot is facing the side, other foot's in at about a steep enough angle, we say about 45 degrees, and this is to keep the back knee safe while giving us enough twist or mobility to turn the hips to the side of the mat. So block is in your right hand, your left foot is in front. Left hand to the hip, right arm to the sky. Taking a breath in, and as you breathe out, reaching out as far as you can and bringing the block to the ground. If you don't touch the ground easy, make the block tall. The height is in our favor here. Taking the left hand, the one on your hip, reaching it out to the side as you inhale, and then to the sky, so we'll be twisting to the back of our mats as we exhale. We can look down for balance, or maybe you feel comfortable looking up. 2 deep breaths in our twisting triangle. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Deep breath in, deep breath out. So just for fun, we'll release out of this, bringing the top hand back down to the left shin. Turning the back heel in a little bit more. Bring the block with you. You're reaching your block hand to the sky, short triangle, and inhale coming all the way up. Release the arms, turning your left toes in, and then we'll turn to your right. So in this case, the right foot faces the side, and the back foot's in at about a 45-degree angle. Doing the best we can to square the hips. Placing the block in your left hand, right hand on your hip. Inhaling your block arm to the sky. We're setting up for another twist. Exhale, reaching far out as you hinge, lowering the block inside the foot. Some of us practice with the block on the outside of the foot. For this session, we're bringing the block inside the foot. Taking the right arm when you're ready. Inhale, extending it straight out along the spine. And then exhale, twisting towards your front leg. Taking the arm to the sky. Your back will be to your screen. And we'll take 2 breaths here in our twisting triangle. I always said, if you feel a little awkward in this pose, you're probably doing it right. 1 more. Full breath in. Full breath out. Lowering your top hand down, bringing it to your shin. Turning your back heel in for some support. You can move the block to the side for now, but taking this left arm back to the sky into our short variation of triangle. And inhaling to come all the way up. Turning the toes in and walking or hopping the feet together. Arms can release. Taking a nice deep breath in. And deep breath out. We'll do 1 balancing pose before we make our way to the ground. Balancing is such an important part of our lives as we navigate our way through this very uncertain world. It helps to have some balance in our bodies, and it also helps with the prevention of falls and injury. So we'll do the ever so famous tree pose, bringing weight into one leg, it doesn't matter which, and hands to the hips. So some of you know my mother was my first yoga teacher. If you've ever been in my classes, you've heard about the supermarket hip. Waiting in line at the supermarket, wondering when this line is ever going to end. So this is what we want to avoid. So being careful to draw the hip in and under so that we have a line from our heel, knee, hip, shoulder, as opposed to a curve. So for a few times, let the hip shift out to the side and then draw it in. Inhale, let it slide out. Exhale, draw it in. Pretty quickly you start to feel your muscles working. Just 1 more time. Inhaling and then drawing it in. Bringing the opposite foot in like a kickstand. So you're welcome to stay here. Different variations with the arms. Hands can be heart center. Some people like arms to a T or to the sky overhead. I'm going to keep mine heart center for today. So you're welcome to stay here or maybe take the floating foot a little bit higher, just not on the knee. Avoiding our supermarket hips, lifting our heads, lifting our hearts, maybe even having a steady gaze out in front of us. Few deep breaths here. All wobbles are good wobbles. If we don't try and wobble, we don't get any stronger. So maybe even welcome the wobbles. Smile with the wobbles and just really doing the best you can. Another deep breath or 2. You're welcome to stay a little longer and practice here, or we'll come to the other side. So lowering this foot down, bringing the hands to the hips for a moment, and finding your supermarket hip on the other side. Maybe really acting it out. And you can try this a few times with me. Drawing the hip in, and then letting the hip slide out. You can almost feel your tailbone lift up behind you and then drop down as you draw it in, as everything comes into alignment. Let's do 2 more. Drawing it out, and then drawing it in. 1 more. Letting it slide out, and then drawing it in. We can bring the hands to the hips here. When you're ready, bringing the opposite foot in like a kickstand. Hands can stay in the hips or maybe move to heart center. Option to float the foot a little bit higher on the leg. Any variation with the arms. Some people like to bring the foot high up on the thigh, and that's perfectly fine. But we don't have the flexibility or mobility in our hips and our low back. We're actually putting more pressure on the hip joint and the lumbar spine than we need to be. Perfectly lovely and a great practice to have the foot lower on the leg, so no pressure to take it any higher. We'll just take a few more breaths here, welcoming every wobble as they come and go. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Just 1 more breath. And then when you're ready, lowering the opposite foot down. Hands can stay or rest to the sides. Perhaps seeing if you can feel your ribs expand as you breathe in. Feet on the floor as you breathe out. Again, ribs expanding with in-breath. Feet on the floor with out-breath. This is a practice we could do anywhere to help settle ourselves. 1 more breath here. And then in no fancier way in particular, making your way back down to the ground. Some of us will benefit by using the blocks to help lower ourselves to the ground. So please do if that's the case. We have nothing to prove other than that we are trained to take very good care of ourselves. So we'll have a seat with our legs extended out in front of us. Bending into the right knee. I'm going to turn towards you so that you can see my legs a little bit more. I don't know if that helps. Just doing the best you can. I should wear brighter colors when I do this. Let your knee fall out to the side and turning the rib cage towards your extended leg. See my toes down here? Inhale, extending the spine towards the sky. And exhale, hinging forward. Just doing the best you can. Catching a hold of maybe your shin, ankle. Some of us will comfortably reach the foot, not all of us. And 3 times, we'll inhale, lift the head and heart, shoulders draw back. And exhale, folding as the elbows pull to the side. Inhaling to lift the head and the heart. Exhaling, folding. 1 more time, breath in. And breath out. And then we'll pause here. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. So let's gently lift the head and the heart. I have my left leg forward, so my left hand will catch a hold of my shin or ankle. If you have your other leg, that's fine. Just stay on that side. Opposite arm reaches forward, just to stretch the side body as we inhale. Reach up and over, chest open into the side as the arm extends out, chest opens. Now looking at the back hand, flipping this palm towards the sky. Inhale, taking your right arm or back arm straight up, and exhale, arm alongside the ear. So our side body is getting quite long here. Some of us will feel comfortable bending the front elbow inside the knee. Lower ribs rolling forward as the top ribs roll back. 1 more full breath in. Full breath out. Inhale, coming up to seated. And exhaling to release. So we'll switch legs, bringing this knee up and extending forward. Opposite knee in, and then falling open. Toes to the sky, even drawing the toes towards the nose. Sitting tall and turning the ribs towards the front leg. Inhale, extending arms to the sky. And exhale, hinging forward. catching a hold of wherever you reach to comfortably. 3 times we'll inhale, lift through the head and the heart, and exhale to fold in. Inhale, lifting through the head and the heart, and exhaling to fold. One more breath in and breath out, and we'll pause here in the fold. Deep breath in, deep breath out. One more deep breath in. Taking your time with your exhale. I have my right leg forward now, so my right hand will stay. Opposite arm reaching forward. Inhaling, taking this arm up and over, and as we reach back, our torso opens to the side, chest wide open. Turning towards the back hand so we can flip this palm to the sky. Inhale, reaching the arm straight up. And then exhale, bringing the arm alongside the ear. Some of us will stay. Some of us will let the front elbow bend inside the knee. Probably not the best angle for you to see this shape, but I think we're getting the right idea. Let's take 2 more breaths. In, breath out, breath in, and breath out. When you're ready, inhale, rising up, and exhaling to release. First, we'll bring this knee up and extend the legs forward. And then bending both knees, soles of the feet together, and the knees can come wide. So we'll bring hands to ankles or feet, it's up to you. Sitting tall, for some of us this will be more than enough just to do this. Some of us will feel comfortable folding forward a bit. 2 ways, well, there are a lot of ways to do this, but 2 ways I'll mention today is we can hinge from the hips, and I'll turn sideways so you can kind of see. Hinging from the hips to fold forward. And that will feel different than if we round the spine to fold forward. I say try both. Be curious. See which one seems like a good fit for you today. I tend to prefer hinging from the hips with a longer spine. I feel more of a stretch in my inner hips. But sometimes my back needs a little bit more of a stretch, so I might round my spine. I'm getting curious about sensation, noticing how they come and go. And we'll just take another breath in and breath out. On your inhale, slowly bringing the spine upward. Bringing the knees together, and if you're not long ways on your mat, just turning yourself sideways so that we can lower ourselves down to the ground. There's a block in my way. Coming all the way to the ground. It might feel nice just take a moment to stretch out. I spend a lot of time sitting, so I love every opportunity to stretch out. And then we'll take a gentle bridge pose. So bending the knees, bringing the soles of the feet in so the heels are as close to your hips as they can be. Maybe you can even sweep your fingertips to get your heels. Head stays center. Palms can start down, and then roll the back of shoulders into the ground so you feel the collarbone broaden. And as you inhale, press into the feet to scoop the hips up into a gentle bridge. Few breaths here, a lot of effort in the feet and the legs, not so much in the glutes and the back. They're kind of along for the ride. So even rolling the back of the shoulders down will help support this effort. And we'll take another breath or 2 here. And then gently lowering down. So if it didn't feel right or didn't feel safe for you, it's really okay to skip this one until you can work with a teacher in person. Make sure you're doing it safely. But if you feel well enough or it feels good, on your next inhale, lifting the hips again. So some of us will choose to stay here with the palms down. Some of us will prefer to interlace the fingers and even roll the shoulder blades beneath, really taking the collarbone broader, lifting through the hips. We can often take the hips a little higher than we think we can. And we'll take another breath or two here. And that the shoulders are tucked, untucking the shoulders, releasing the hands, and then lowering the hips all the way back down to the ground. Pausing here, deep breath in, deep breath out. And then for some of us, it will feel nice to walk the feet wide and bring the knees to touch here, letting the outer hips release. Some of us, it will feel better to bring the feet together and let the knees fall wide. Doing what feels best for you. Maybe closing the eyes. Sometimes it's nice to rest one hand to the belly, one hand to the heart. Just dropping back into a sense of the rhythm of our own breath and the beat of our own heart. You're welcome to linger here if you'd like. Otherwise, pressing the feet together to help bring the knees together. Coming into a gentle twist, we'll keep it really gentle today, letting both knees fall in one direction, it doesn't matter which. Staying for a breath or two. And then if you'd like, letting the knees fall in the opposite direction. Staying here for a breath or two. And then taking your time to come back to center and coming into any resting shape. Most of the time we invite ourselves and each other to come into Shavasana or resting pose, corpse pose. But if there's another shape, whether it's on your side or on your belly, that's more suitable for you, by all means, please take it. If you'd like to join me with 3 relaxing sighs, taking a nice deep breath in. Inhaling. One more, breathing in. And inviting yourself, as you are, wholeheartedly, just to this moment, to rest deeply, to let the muscles and the bones and all of our organs just settle down. To invite the mind to just rest in the sense of being here now. Remembering there's not a right or a wrong way to be. But practicing to allow ourselves to just be here now. You're welcome to rest here as long as you'd like. Thank you, each of you, for taking your time to take such good care of yourself today. I'll be making my way to seated. You're more than welcome to join me. Bending the knees, rolling onto your side to come to seated. You can always pause at any point for a few breaths, making it your own, moving in a way that feels healthy and well for you. So as we come to seated, maybe the hands rest on the knees, maybe the palms meet in Andala Mudra. Symbolic gesture that reminds us of the gifts that these practices help us fall awake to, the most balanced place in each of us. Welcoming and greeting ourselves here as we are in this moment, and each other. Namaste. Thank you so much for taking the time to practice today. Stay tuned for other
videos for myself and my colleagues so that we might support each other from wherever we are, day by day, moment by moment. Take care.